Okay, everybody can. All right, we start with Chumash, right? Okay, so today's Thursday, the 29th of Iyar. Tomorrow is going to be Rosh Chodesh, June 6th. We're in the middle of Bamidbar, Perek Gimel, Pasuk Yudalid. Vayidaber Hashem al Moshe b'Midbar Sinai Lemar. Hashem spoke to Moshe in the Sinai desert, saying, "Pkoid es b'nei Levi lebeis avaisam." Count the children of Levi according to their father's house, lemishpachaisam, to their families. Kol zachar mi ben chodesh v'lamayla tifkidein. Any male from the age of 1 month and onward, you should count. Unlike other countings that we know of, which are between the ages of 20 to 60, those are battle ages of to know kind of the battle force of the Jewish people. The tribe of Levi is different. That's not what it's for. And Rashi actually, let's go to Rashi over here. Why 1 month? So there's a few things over here. Till 1 month, a child is called a nephalim. Like we're not sure if the baby will survive. Baruch Hashem, nowadays, a very, very, very high percentage of babies survived. But in the old days, till 1 month, you didn't know if a baby was going to survive or not. After 1 month, it's considered a full baby. And this has halachic ramifications in many areas. So therefore, you only start counting from when they're 1 month. We know for the tribe of Levi, for example, from the story of when they came down to Egypt and they counted 70 souls, but if you count it, it's really 69. But who was born? Yocheved was born. Yocheved was just born and she was counted. Like she must have been just over a month old, and they counted her. So we see that for the tribe of Levi, we count from 1 month. So Moshe counted them according to Hashem's word, just as he was commanded. According to Hashem's word, Rashi says, what do you mean, according to Hashem's word? So actually Moshe said to Hashem, how can I know babies? How old they are? I don't see them. They're in their mother's tent. I don't go into the tents. It's private property. But actually what would happen is Moshe would go in front of the tent and a heavenly voice would call out how many people, including the babies, were in the tent, or how many babies were in the tent. And that's how Moshe knew how many babies there were. Okay, Vayiyu Eila b'nei Levi b'shmoisim Gershon u'kahasam Merari. These are the sons of Levi, Gershon, Kahasam, Merari. Ve'elu shmois b'nei Gershon u'mishpachaisim Livni v'Shimi. These are the names of the sons of Gershon according to their families. They were Livni and Shimi. Uvnei Kahas l'mishpachaisim Imram v'Yitzar Chevron v'Uziel. The sons of Kahas according to their families were Amram, Yitzar, Chevron, and Uziel. Machli, Umushi, Elahim. Those are them. They were Machli and Mushi. These are the families of Levi according to their father's house. Gershon, Mishpachas Halivni, Mishpachas Hashmini, Elohim, Mishpachas HaGershoni. For Gershon, the Livnites and the Shimeites family, these are the Gershonite families. Rashi. That is to say, from Gershon, those counted were the Livni family and the Shimon family. Their numbers were so many and so many. They so and so. They were X, Y, and Z, whatever they were. Lifkudehem, we're gonna go into them. Lifkudehem b'mispar kol zachmi ben chedesh l'mal lifkudehem shiva alafim v'chamesh me'ais. Their sum was made according to the numbers of males from the ages of 1 month and upward. The tally was 7,500. 7,500. Mishpachas HaGershoni achrei HaMishkan Yachnu Yama. The Gershoni family shall camp behind the Mishkan to the west. When a seed base of the Gershoni, the prince of the father's house of Gershoni, who was it? It was Eliasaph ben Loel. Mishchas b'nei Gershon ba'el Moed HaMishkan v'ha'oyel michseu u'masach pesach ha'el Moed. The charge of the sons of Gershon in the tent of meeting, in the Mishkan, the tent, its cover, and the screen for the entrance to the tent of meeting. That's what they were in charge of. The Mishkan, the bottom curtains, the tent, the curtains made of goat's hair, which served as the roof. Its cover, ram skins and tachash skins. And the screen of the entrance, this is the curtain. The kal e hachotzer. Oh, there's more stuff. The kal e hachotzer, the hangings of the curtain. There's masach pesach hachotzer, the screen at the entrance of the courtyard. Ashar al mishkan, which is around the mishkan al mizbeach, and on the mizbeach of saviv, around the mizbeach. Meisarav lechol avedesav. It's ropes as well as all the work involved of the mishkan, the tent, but not the courtyard. That's what they were in charge of. V'likas mishpachas ha'amrami, mishpachas hayitzhari, mishpachas ha'chavrani, mishpachas ha'azali. For Kahas, the Amorite family, the Azar, each of the families, 4 families. Ela mishpachas ha'kahasi. These are the families of Kahas. The number of males from the age of 1 month and upward, they were more. They were Shmeinas Halafim, the Sheshmios, they were 8,600. Mishmeres HaKodesh, they were in charge of the holy. That was their mandate. Mishvachas B'nei Kahas, Yachlui Al Yerach HaMishkan Teimana. The families of the sons of Kahas, they were in the south side of the Mishkan. First one was on the west side, they were on the south side, and they had the holy, the Kodesh. That's what they were in charge of. Sound like the first people had a bigger job with all the different things that it listed off. But what an important job to be in charge of the Kodesh. Okay, let's look at this Rashi. The families of the sons of Kahas shall camp to the south. Near them was the division of Reuven, who camped to the south. Because you had first, next to the Mishkan, each of the different Levite groups. And then after that, you had the regular Shvatim, who also had their assigned places. So they were neighbors to Reuven. Woe to the wicked, woe to his neighbor. This explains why Dasan, Aviram, and 250 men were smitten with Korach and his congregation, for they were drawn into the dispute along with them. Okay, so you gotta, what does they say in real estate? Location, location, location. You gotta get lucky with your neighbors. On the sea base of the Mishpachos HaKahasi, the prince of the father of the house of Kahasi was Elitzaphan ben Uziel, Elitzaphan the son of Uziel. Mishmartem ha'aron v'hashulchan ha'menera. Oh, their charge was the ark, the shulchan, which is the table, the menorah, mizbeach, and all the utensils that they would minister, and the screen and all the work involved. This is the parochas. This is the dividing curtain that separates between in the Mishkan to the Kodesh HaKodashim, or the Kodesh. Levi, and the prince that was the prince over all the princes of Levi, Eliezer ben Aaron, was Eliezer the son of Aaron, HaKohen, the appointment of all the keepers of the charge of the holy. He was appointed over all of them. In what regard was he prince over them? The appointment of all the keepers and the charge of the holy. They were all appointed by him, by Eliezer ben Aaron. Lemrari, Mishpachas HaMachli, Mishpachas HaMushi, Elehem Mishpachas Merari. Merari was made up of the Machli family and the Mushatite family. They were the smallest. They were 6,200. And the sea base of the Mishpachas Merari, Tsuriel ben Avil Chayil. The prince of the house of Merari was Tsuri ben Avichal al Yerach HaMishkan Yachnu Tzvaina. They were on the north side of the Mishkan. They were appointed to be in charge of the planks of the Mishkan, Uvrichav, its bars, Uvamudav, and its pillars, Va'adanav, and its sockets, V'chol Kelav, Cholavadav, and all its utensils and all the work involved. Va'amudei HaChatzer, and the pillars that are on the Saviv, around the courtyard, Va'adneim, their sockets, V'seidaisam, their stakes, Umeisrehem, and their ropes. And camping in the front of the Mishkan, in the front of the tent of the meeting to the east, was Moshe, Aaron, and his children. Shemrim Mishmeres HaMikdash. They were keepers of the charge of this the Mikdash, of the holy, the Mishmeres Bnei Yisrael, Azar Hakarav Yamus. They kept the trust for the Jewish people. Any outsider who approaches shall be put to death. Okay, let's, just like we talked about who was the neighbors of Moshe, Aaron, and his children, near them was, Rashi says, near them was the division of the camp of Yehuda, next to whom camped Yisachar and Zvulun. It is good for the righteous and is good for his neighbor. Because they were neighbors of Moshe, who was engaged in Torah study, they became great Torah scholars. As it says, Judah is my lawgiver. The sense of Yisachar were those who had understood. Yisachar was also the 200 of the heads of the Sanhedrin. From Zvulun came those who wield the scribe's quill. They were the scribes. So just being in proximity to Moshe, Aaron, and his sons made Yehuda, Yisachar, and Zvulun great tribes in Torah study. Okay, Kol Pkudi Alavim Asher Fakad Moshe v'Aaron Al Pi Hashem Mishchaisim Kol Zarim Ben Shem L'Mayla Shnayim v'Esrim Elef. The sum of the total of the Levites from 1 month and onward, counted by Moshe and Aaron, according to the word of Hashem, was 22,000. 22,000 people, 22,000 males between the ages of 1 month and infinity. Oh, so Rashi has a question right away. But when you count them individually, if you had done the math, you will find another 300. The sons of Gershon were 7,500. The sons of Kahas were 8,600. The sons of Merari were 6,200. Why were they not included with the rest to redeem the firstborn, thus exempting? Why were they not included with the rest to redeem the firstborn, thus exempting the 273 firstborns who were in excess of the number of Levites from redemption? Our sages in Tractate Brachot answer that those 300 Levites were firstborns, and it was enough that they exempt themselves from redemption. Okay, it was counting them kind of to calculate also how many firstborns they would each redeem. But 300, it would seem like the number would be way higher than 300 firstborns. Of 22,000, oh, well, I don't know. We need a statistician. But 300 of those 22,000 Levites were firstborns themselves. Okay, let's go to the Tanya. We're talking about in the Tanya about how we already know that Hashem's energy, if the Shekhinah was just unbridled Shekhinah, the world could not exist, right? We gave a mashal. We have a mashal of, let's say, a sun, for example, the sun's rays. If the sun was too close to the earth would just burn up. Even the rays of the sun, we need an ozone layer to protect us, and we need the perfect. If the ozone layer was too much, we'd be too cold, and the earth would not exist. If the ozone layer did not block enough, we would burn up. And in the first part of the chapter 52, we had the example of the brain, where the neshama, like we know that the brain is the main housing of, because there's a key question. Why do we say the Shekhinah, for example, is in the Kodesh HaKodashim, in the Beis HaMikdash? Isn't the Shekhinah everywhere in the world? So, but just like the brain houses the main part of the soul, and from there the energy of the soul goes everywhere in the body, distributed, but its main house is over there. So same too as a mashal, same too you can talk about the Shekhinah, where it has a place on this world where it channels in, and from there it gets dispersed, so to speak. But of course the Shekhinah in itself is so powerful that it needs to be condensed in order to even get into that Kodesh HaKodashim, into that portal, if you want to say. Anyhow, let's go. This is what we've been talking about. Aval Shekhinah Atzma, the Shechina itself, Shehi Reishos Hagiloi V'Ikara, the origin and core of the manifestation, V'Ikara Mashe Ein Sof Baruch Hu, of the Ein Sof Baruch Hu, Meir La'olamais B'Bchinas Giloi, V'Himakar Kol HaMshachos HaChayos Sheb'Chol Ha'olam. It is the source of the revelation, and it's revealed into all the worlds. Shekol HaChayos Shebahem. Their entire vitality being no more than the light which is diffused from it, the light radiating from the sun. The worlds themselves cannot endure and receive the light directly from the Shekhinah. That it should dwell directly in it, without garments, so to speak, that are going to conceal it, and conceal its light, because otherwise it would be completely nullified. So that they will not become entirely nullified and lose their identity within their source. Just as the light of the sun is nullified in its source, namely in the sun itself. Where the light in the sun itself, you cannot see any rays of the sun. It's completely engulfed in the sun. So too over here, the Shekhinah, if it would, so too, since the Shekhinah is the source of vitality of the whole of creation, all of which receives but a ray of the Shekhinah, and if the Shekhinah itself, the actual source, would be manifest, all created beings would be nullified in that source. Their situation would be exactly similar to the sun's rays as they are found within the orb of the sun, where they are completely nullified. In order for the Shekhinah to dwell within the worlds and their creations or creatures, there must therefore be a garment which serves to conceal its light. Only then can creation receive the Shekhinah and not be nullified out of existence. I think we've talked about this concept earlier before, but it's following what we're talking about, where, and what a short Tanya, where we're talking about how the world itself, it needs to get that limited, condensed rays of light, or of Shekhinah. Otherwise, it would be completely nullified in itself. The Tehillim for today are chapters 140 to 150. Tomorrow we're going to do the Chitas at 8:45. 8:45 sharp. I'm going to make sure that I get back